So today's class will start in seated position, and I do want to focus on a breath method or two here to start class, because when you think of core work, it doesn't get much more core than breathing. Sit however is comfortable. I'm sitting on my heels on a blanket, okay? You can sit on a block, cross-legged. That tends to be another comfortable position. Let's take a moment here just to roll our shoulders back and down, maybe shake the shoulders out, lift the crown, back of the neck up, lift the heart a little bit. Close your eyes, start to settle the body. And just connect your awareness to the core, to the breath. Close your eyes, deep inhale in your nose, deep exhale. Start to bring that breath into the abdomen. Some yogis call it the belly breath. As you inhale, you'll feel your abdomen expand forward and back, to the sides and up and down. Listen, yogis, we're going to add breath holds here. So exhale all the way. And then a really big inhale into your abdomen, lower ribs and chest. Hold the breath. Maybe squeeze your pelvic floor, your perineum. Pull the navel just in slightly, up. Slowly release, body and breath. You're welcome to hold longer if you can. Let's just do two more to start practice here. So really big inhale, expand everything, abdomen, ribs, chest, upper back. At the top of the inhale, hold your breath, please. As you hold your breath, notice if you tense your face, your shoulders, your arms. No unnecessary clenching of the body. When you are ready, slow exhale. If you're practicing longer breath holds, just take your time. You don't need to do, my pace here. So you can take an extra breath in between if you need. Let's do one more big round, stretching the inner body with the breath hold. Big inhale. Hold the breath, please. When you're done there, slowly release. Sit for a moment, just feeling the effects of the breath. All right, let's make our way forward. Tabletop position. Just starting with a nice good old cat-cow, warm up the core, get some movement through. On that inhale, arch the back. On the exhale, round the spine. On the inhale, anterior tilt. On the exhale, posterior tilt with the pelvis. On the inhale, lift the chin. On the exhale, tuck the chin. On the inhale, retract. On the exhale, protract. So those are all different parts of cat-cow. You can isolate some of them or put them all together. If you want a little extra here for the wrists, turn the fingers out and then toward the knees. Get a little forearm, elbow crease, wrist stretch. You can continue your cat-cow here. One more option, yogis. Fingers turn forward. Draw circles with the core, with the pelvis. So it's kind of like a cat-cow, but much more, let's say, complex and creative. So you get that core moving in a lot more ways here. It's very free movement, right? Kind of exploratory. Our next position will be the downward facing dog. No rush getting there. Eventually, toes tuck, hips up and back. Everyone in class is familiar with these poses, so I'm going to leave out some of those basic cues like move around here and try to relax the back of your neck. You guys know that stuff. It's important that I give you time to be self-aware with the cues, right? I don't need to repeat stuff over and over and over. I've done it 100 times in this class, so practice now recognizing it in yourself. That's very key that I allow you to do that. So let's take a few more breaths here. You know, depending on the day, if your body's really tight, extra focus on the physical aspect, maybe, right? If your body is feeling really good, maybe going a little bit more subtle body towards very subtle disengagements or engagements in the body, and then breath work. So working on actually having a skillful breath in a more challenging physical form. We're really good at breathing seated, maybe. That's not easy either. But when you're good there, then you practice applying that same quality of breath in more strenuous positions. Okay. Big inhale, please. Let's take it down to the knees. Just a quick warm up for the hip joint. Grip your fingers, lift your right leg up, bend your right knee, turn your right knee facing out, bring it toward the right shoulder, bring it down under even slightly to the left wrist, bring it back up straight, bend it, turn the foot behind you, bring it wide. So there is mobility, which means it's strength and flexibility. So try to find a nice balance here. Connect to your body here, yogis. Slow down. Maybe you need to move it a little faster. But also, if you always do that, your hips are, let's say, not strong enough, it's good to slow it down. There's no weight here. It's your biggest muscles. It should be totally fine to do this early in class. If you have back pain, it's going to be a different story, okay? Go the opposite direction, please. In the middle, take a little cat-cow. That can put some strain in the lower back, especially if you allow your back to arch. We'll meet, don't pull the belly in, don't let the back arch. Left leg rises, I bend, I turn the knee open, the leg goes kind of behind me. I bring it wide toward the shoulder, down, under, across, back, up, bend, open. Big kind of articulating circle of the hip. We've done this many times. I just want you to connect to your hip. It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to, have all the ranges of motion done exact. Some days I want to give you like technical approach, but then I want to try to get away from that a lot of days. I tend to be more technical, like kind of scientific, and I want to be a little bit more kind of creative and free some practices. And since we have all regulars, I'm going to try to give you that a little bit more. All right, yogis, remember that yoga's a lot on your wrists. If you need to take breaks, roll out your wrists. If you need to do it on the forearms, that's always a good idea. So we're going to meet and eventually take good circles both directions, back and down dog. So some of us might want to stay on the knees. We're going to do that classic forehead to knee. Knee to forehead, knee to arm, knee across to the other arm. That work. We haven't done it in a while, and it's like really traditional more yoga core. So we're going to meet in down dog. You might want to step your feet together. I do want you to slow down here and make this quality. I will give you a little break in between sides. All right? Right leg rises. So we just open the hip. We don't really have to do it here. Lift your left heel. Exhale, forehead to knee. Round and squeeze, shift the plank. So we are shifting the plank, and now inhale back to dog. Right leg up, even pulse the leg, right knee, right elbow, tricep. Okay, inhale, right leg high, backing up, down dog, right knee, left elbow. Inhale, exhale, forehead to knee. So you're going to continue with your right leg. I like to say, try to get to 3 to the forehead, 3 to the right arm, 3 to the left arm. So, that's a good place to try to get to. I'd rather see quality contractions and movements than doing a lot of reps. And if it's too much, like I said, you could do it on the left knee. You're not going to get that shifting forward and back that you do in down dog and plank, but that's okay. Who cares, yogis? It doesn't have to be anything exact. It's all good. So we're doing let's call these, core crunches and leg lifts. Really good stuff here. Now listen, we're going to slowly step our right foot forward. Some of these are still going. Take your time. Right foot's going to go forward. You can do this on the back knee or tuck your back toes, hold your first lunge. Now let's open up the core. Big inhale, right arm goes up and open. Exhale, right hand goes down. Nice and smooth. From my core, I'm rotating to the right. My right arm is going out and up. So now the arms are really in action and the spine is rotating. The legs are more static. Close your eyes, see if you can get a few more in. If it's too much, we do this movement a lot in tabletop. That's another fantastic version that's covering what I'm looking for. You don't have to be in a lunge, as long as we're kind of getting some spreading of the chest, arms closer together, and rotation of the spine. Now, I remember reading an article, I think it was by a physical therapist, it was a while back now, but it was about you should dynamically rotate your spine like every day. That's pretty common sense, right? All right, let's take a little stretch here. Hands down. If you're not in lunge, let's step our right foot forward. And we're going to take a quick hamstring stretch now, straightening the right leg. So we call this like half split or half pyramid. Don't force it. Just be easy. It is pretty early. Right hip back and down. Lengthen through the core. Flex your right foot. Press your feet down. And let's forward fold. Not a super long hold. After all that stimulation and action and movement, try to discipline fidgeting now and come back to the subtle self. So slow down your mind by breathing slower and deeper. That'll also calm your heart rate. Big inhale, bend front knee, hands on the floor, right leg goes back and up, just like we started, kind of shake the leg out. It was forward in the bent form, forward in the straight form. Got both methods there. We'll come back to down dog. And we're just going to go right for our second side. If you need to do anything, a cat-cow, a chaturanga, you're more than welcome. I'm saving your energy here for the forehead to knee, knee to arm. Here we go. Inhale, left leg goes high. I like to pulse it to get the butt turning on. Left knee, forehead. Inhale. Notice I do have a slight pause. Left knee, left elbow. I really squeeze, pull up. Then left leg up. Left knee, right elbow. Continue at your own pace. Come on, really connect. Feel the body. There is, as that leg goes forward to the forehead, the arm, there is a compression, yogis. Sometimes compression gets a bad rap, but when using compression in certain ways, it can really make you strong fast and maybe potentially cleanse some organs. I know those wrists are working right now, and don't worry, we're gonna get a little break from that soon here, okay? You're gonna be standing and on your back. There's gonna be minimal weight bearing on the wrists coming up, okay? After you do, you're trying to get to, let's say 6 or 9, 2 to 3 per each side. Some of us can go a little further, depending on how you're feeling. We're gonna step our left foot forward, Now you could stay here. Just inhale your left arm up and open. Exhale it down. I think most of us I saw doing the lunge. Okay, first lunge, try to keep a lot of weight into your feet. So don't get too heavy in the hands. Okay, inhale. Exhale. From your core, please. Inhale. Exhale. Just notice little things like as I twist my chest to the left and up, my right hip's going to want to kind of dip down. That's not wrong, yogis, but it's just a tendency that tends to happen with lack of self-awareness. So yeah, in the start, you can lift, as you twist up open to the left, you lift your right hip up against the twist. So it's almost like an opposite twist. But sometimes I do let the hip drop on purpose. It kind of feels good. There's a little kind of unique in-between stretch there. So just make sure it's like intentional and you're aware of what you're doing. That's really kind of, yoga in a nutshell on the physical body. Like, what is my body doing more so than what can I make it do, right? It's not like, yoga's not like, let's see, can I try to go further in this form? It's like, can I be more aware of what I'm doing and, make the mind meditative and calm and aware while I'm doing it, okay? So when you're done there, now you get that nice break, a little stretch. You might want to curl your back knee back, especially if you were on the knee, because I want the hip over the knee here, okay? Front leg more straight. Take a little meditative breath work, press the feet down, lengthen your core, and forward fold. Now you get a moment to slow down after some big movements. And just a reminder on that note, remember Patanjali, a lot of us know yoga as the system of Ashtanga, right? Kind of the original power yoga. A lot of these kind of movements stem from. And Patanjali said that the practice of yoga is what's in Sanskrit is chitti vritta nirodha. It's the practice of calming the crazy mind. Let's keep it simple. That's what it means. So when these postures make you crazy, what's the practice? It's calming the mind, whether it's using breath or a quick rest or thoughts or just, cognition that your mind is calm, thinking positively, like reminding yourself to have some positive thoughts. So that's really the heart of our practice, right? So when you're done with your stretch, take it back, neutralize for a moment, three-legged dog or a little cat-cow. So I am going to have you now hold the plank, but I am going to take you to your forearms just to give the wrist a break. I know it's a lot on the shoulders right now, but we're going to switch gears here in a few moments, all right? If you want to do chaturangas instead or push-ups, those can all work here. Something to really get into that kind of symmetrical full body, engage the upper back, engage the butt and the thighs. And what do? You work on calming the mind. Slow, deep, smooth breathing. One of the most practical ways we can calm the mind is calming the breath. Changing your thoughts a little bit more difficult probably, right? So focus the mind on the breath in the present moment, and smooth and slow, deeper, slower breaths. Let's do about another 30 seconds. If you're feeling good, you can hover a foot. You always know that. You can work some serratus push-ups. We did that a couple times last week in 2 different classes, where you're letting your chest drop between your arms. That's a retraction. And then you're spreading back, lifting the upper back up over the arms, and that's a protraction. So it is a scapular action, not really a shoulder action, right? Nice, Kev. Nice, Stephen. Yep, so don't be shy to add other variations, man. If you're having the best day of your life, you just go right up in the forearm balance here, or you go up in the handstand. All right, don't hold back. Whenever I say plank or down dog hold, bigger inversions or challenging body positions are always on the table. Just like rests are available, higher, stronger, intense versions are available. If you feel good, yogis, make practice as intense as possible, okay? Because you can't do that every day. So we're going to take it down to the chest. Nice job with your plank. So I want to do the active cobra first, a stretch cobra, and then we'll do one more big movement. We're going to switch gears. So we're going to lengthen the core. Press the feet pivot bone down. I want to see those legs active. That's a big thing I see walking around a yoga room. People's legs are too lazy in cobra. Shoulders back and down, hands near lower ribs. Inhale, I lift the heart. I'm going to pause. So we're breaking down cobra. Cobra alone. Exhale, lower down. If you want more, you could reach your arms down by your side. As you inhale, lift your chest. You kind of reach your arms up and back too. So you're going to get more back activation. You could even intertwine your fingers here. It's a nice shoulder stretch, squeezing your palms together, kind of relaxing your arms as you lower down. Inhale, activate the legs, press the pubic bone down, lift the chest, roll the shoulders back. Slowly exhale, release. And then you see you do, 5, 6, 7 more. And I notice, yogis, I try not to demo too much because I don't want you to constantly be looking at the screen. I can feel it already. I'm looking at the screen a lot, and I can feel the neck gets these patterns of like activation. So minimal looking at the screen, please. I have this idea of when I have all regulars, we'll do a classic practice, and I'll just be talking. I'll have the screen off. And make your rely on listening. You have to close your eyes and listen clearly. Because we do that a lot in yoga. In intermediate practice, there's no demonstrating. It's all auditory, all right? All right, so listen, take a little breather. Nice job with your lower back. I would like you to do that exercise regularly, please. I do that a few times a week at least, making sure that lower back is arching in its extension action there, okay? Really good one. Just make sure you're keeping your feet down to isolate the lower back more. So I'm just giving a little release here. Windshield wipe. I want to go for a stretch cobra. Now we're going to hold this one. Sphinx is easier. Cobra is middle ground, high cobra. And up dog would be a big pose. Shoulders back and down, chest lifts, still use some back muscle. And let's get into our cobra. Engage the legs, yogis. Point those toes. Pull the navel in and up. Shoulders back and down. Close your eyes. Let's take a couple more breaths. Big thing here, shoulders back and down. They want to go forward and up, so we put them back and down. It's a lot easier said than done, yogis. I'll tell you, I think Cobra is probably an intermediate yoga pose because I walk around big classes and most people, even yoga teachers, can't do this one well. I don't like to say correct, but most people are stuck in this pattern of shoulders being forward and up. Okay, and it's usually because we rush in and out of it. We don't hold it enough. Get that muscle memory and those subtle activations and relaxations. Okay, let's lower down. Nice job. Take a quick child pose. So this next movement I'm going to do is kind of a replacement for chaturanga. You're more than welcome to do chaturangas. I'm going to take the day off from those. So you're going to start on your shins. You're going to rise up. You're going to cross your arms, or you're going to start with your hands on your hip. It's child pose to camel. So it is a moving forward bend and back bend. I'm going to shift my weight to like my feet, my shins. I'm going to bring my butt to my heels, my forehead toward the mat. Okay? And then I'm going to inhale. I really keep my core engaged. I'm going to lift the heart, lift the chest, hips go forward. So I want to work movement, but also stabilizing. Always that nice balance, right, of kind of stretch and strength. Inhale and exhale. Now, you do have a little option if you want to get a little bit further with this. It's kind of like cat-cow with forward and back, and then we took it very kind of, let's say, circular or more complex and creative. So you can start with your hands on your hips, and I start to go forward, and then I almost kind of go up to the right, then back to the left. So it's like a big circle, yogis. You can also, I showed it here with the hands on the chest, the shoulders, forearms crossed. It's the same movement, but there's this lateral kind of circular motion as well. Go ahead, take a few more. This is big stuff. It seems simple, yogis, but it's quite, challenging for the core. We haven't really done any side bending. We are going to do that next, and then We're gonna hit a little bit of first round of our abs and butt and then stand up, okay? All right, now listen, we're gonna meet up here. I wanna give you one more stretch. Think of it like a triangle. You're gonna meet up here. You might want your block around your, your legs here. My right foot's gonna go out to the side. It's right out to the side, yogis. Think of it like a triangle. Now this is a reverse warrior. I'm gonna just show you two options because we have regulars. Turning the sole of the foot down really keeps it on the medial, the internal thigh. If I turn the toes up and flex that foot, you're gonna go more toward the hamstring. I do wanna be clear that they're quite different stretches, so similar. When you're doing your own practice, it's good to know the difference. I'm gonna turn the foot down for me today since we already did half split, but if you wanted to go here, that's fine. Right hand down the right leg. You gotta engage your right leg, yogis. Don't just push weight into the joint. See how my knee starts to almost over straighten? That's no good. So if you are doing this one, maybe put your hand on a block. Left arm goes up and over. Big stretch here, yogis. Side body and right leg. And you can always do a little bit of both, right? You can lift back up and then feel the difference doing the opposite form, either the sole of the foot down now or the toes to the sky. It's kind of like I always say, like straddle, forward, fold, and seated, and butterfly are very different stretches, often taught interchanged there, but they are quite different, yogis, all right? And sometimes we'll get stuck in a pattern of one of the two. All right, listen, let's slowly rise up. Just go slow. That's that deepest lower back muscle tends to be easily agitated, all right? Left foot goes out. Right arm goes up and over. Just a nice hold here and a big old stretch. Breathing. Some of us doing the two parts, either bringing the sole of the foot now down or shifting to the heel, flexing the foot to the sky. What's funny too is I notice a different side stretch too, right? Not only is this different for that left leg, but it actually changed how my right side is actually stretching. When I rotate the hip externally by bringing the toes to the sky, I feel like a lower stretch in the side body this morning. All right, yogis, so that's a very big stretch there. We're gonna meet in tabletop, swing our legs around. Let's come to seated position. So I want just something to tighten up the front and back body now. Isolate the abs a little bit better. It's yoga core after all. Let's lower right down to the back. Let's save the sit-ups for the end of class. Arms are going to reach forward unless you need them behind your head. Lift those shoulder blades. Legs can be bent. Nice inhale. Legs go forward. Big exhale. The knees come in. Inhale. Pause in. Exhale. Remember, lower back stays down. If you're feeling good, legs go straight. Upper body curls more. Inhale. Exhale. You can add a very slow pop of the pelvis, what we call a reverse crunch in fitness. Nice. And there's more difficult versions, right? If you know them, just, start with something nice and kind of with good contraction. Right into our next little ab exercise. Legs are going to go up. Everyone can straighten your legs now. Relax your head if you need a little breather on the neck. And it's just like you're pulling on a little rope here, yogis. You do the curl, the crunch, and you reach kind of right hand toward the left big toe, left hand toward right big toe. It's this little crunch. It's a very small movement, very small twist as well. It's not like you're seeing how deep you can twist right now. It's a very small pulse, twist, crunch, first side, second side, first side, second side, okay? Last few, if you like. It's a really nice one. Keep those abs engaged as you contract and rotate. Big inhale. Bring the knees into the chest. Head on the floor. Take a moment. Circle out the lower back. You know, core class is a class that's likely to irritate your lower back or your hips because we're focusing on it. So extra kind of moments to massage and relax. First round of bridge. If you want to do block between your thighs, if you want to do a one-legged bridge and you're ready, please feel free. Arms go down by side, squeeze that block, press the lower back down. Here we go. Let's lift the hips. I'm just going to hold today. Pull the belly in, squeeze the pelvic floor. Pubic bone forward up, press the big toe down. Go ahead, you know what to do. I'm showing you one leg version. I'm still squeezing my block, but my thighs are still parallel, but my left leg is reaching forward here. A few more breaths, please, in your first bridge. Slowly, if you're doing one side, make sure you switch it up. All right, yogis, when you're done with that bridge, nice hold there. Think of it like a plank, but for your back body. We are trying to go extended hold. That's how you build strength, that kind of reverse RNA, right? Where the message from the environment, the stimulation is kind of going to the stem cell or to the DNA. So let's come back to center. Take a little moment here. So I do want to get strong into our side body. We do like 3 more things down here, then we're going to go standing, all right? So you're going to have to release your legs. Now, this is called half side plank. You're more than welcome to do full side plank, but this one's also good because you can tend to hold a little longer and you can actually do a leg lift, a lot of us. So I'm on my left forearm, I turn to my left side. I got to prop myself up here, pad my forearm if I need. I just don't want my butt sticking behind me. I want to bring the hips forward. And then I'm going to press through the forearm, use my core to lift my hips up off the floor, all right? Now we're going to hold the core here. If you're up for it, you're going to lift your right leg high. So it's an abduction. It's like a clamshell. The thigh, the outer hip really works. And then you're going to lower down. You know, they do it like this too. I don't really like that version as much where my feet stay together. It's more like a true clamshell, but it does fire well. I like to flex both feet, hover the shin, thigh, and lift the leg, not really moving the core. Last few. This is a very tough exercise. It's okay to skip it. It's okay to try it and exit early. Don't feel like you got to force anything, yogis. The reason I'm not having you move laterally is because we just did that big stretch. I want to tighten it up now. Nice. Try to like really be detailed in the activation of the legs. Okay, lower down nice and slow, please. We're just gonna basically go right to our second side, okay? So roll to your back or to your chest, right forearm down, right shin down. In traditional yoga, that's called like half side plank. And it just kind of allows us to maybe try more, challenging versions that we might not be able to really approach yet in the full side plank. So I'm having you hold a half side plank, but do a lateral leg lift that's similar to, let's say, a half moon type movement, where the leg is going just straight up and straight down, and the lateral engagement of the body. This one will make you sore, yogis. So, we do it straight leg here too. I have your knee bent right now, but eventually that top leg can straighten too. And, depending on how high you lift and how you feel.
That's how we would do it in full side plank.
All right, Yogi, so no rush. Finish up your second round. Make sure your second side is, not slacking because you're fatiguing. Take more rest in between if you need. That's a bad thing sometimes. The left side's always getting less. So let's do one more movement here. It's a straddle crunch here. So my legs are gonna go up. I'm gonna reach my arms back. And as I inhale, I'm gonna stretch my heels, my arms back, press my lower back down. Now, as I exhale, my legs are gonna go very wide, like a straddle, and then I'm gonna crunch between. And then I'm gonna close my legs, keep my lower back down. I'm not gonna lower all the way down. Exhale. Inhale. If you need, you can put your hands behind your head, like open your elbows, crunch here. It's a little bit more awkward.
Try to, have it as a practice to every time you're doing something that your neck is irritated, try to find a way to make the neck more comfortable and supported. That is something that I've learned to do well. I don't really need to hold my neck as much in a lot of these postures, whether it's getting stronger or just more used to it, or I'm being smarter how I hold my neck a lot. Try to recognize this as a practice. Like every yoga pose, we have to show detailed awareness to the neck, just like every body part. We always talking about how the feet are working, how your pelvis and your core activating your shoulders. The neck's a big one too. All right. And having a stiff neck can really change your energy and how you can approach your physical fitness. So we got to make sure we're giving a lot of awareness to the neck. So, when in doubt, you can hold it, but, we are trying to also strengthen it and build, let's say, tolerance to the forms. Okay. So nice job there with your last little crunches. I'm just going to keep it there for now. Let's do one more bridge, please. So one leg, if you're feeling excellent, you just do wheel, or don't forget we have full bridge. That's where one or both legs go straight and the foot is flexed. And then you lift your hips there. Let's do one more big bridge hold. You can do bridge pulses, you can do up downs in the bridge, or hold a one or two-legged bridge. Go ahead, have a little meditative experience for about 1 minute. Nice. Everyone's working hard. Now I want you to take your time. Some of you are already done there. A couple of you still going. Take a moment to kind of neutralize, maybe a happy baby, grabbing the ankles. Just a releasing moment, catching your breath, calming the heart, the eyes. Maybe grab your feet. If you want to go big, you could do plow, swing your legs up over your body. Those postures are somewhat similar. Just something to kind of calm you down, because we do have to do a little bit of standing. It's going to be a little bit more static standing, kind of holding postures, mainly focusing on the balance. All right. All right. When you're done there, let's rock forward and back. Let's make our way up to seated position, please.
Let's press our way forward. Quick yogi squat. We were just in the knees and the chest, so it's pretty similar. I won't hold you here too long. Again, I'll let you personalize it. The next position would be Uttanasana, forward fold. So after a breath or two in the squat, you plant your hands on your blocks of the floor, lift your hips, straighten your legs more. You can take a little inhale, half lift, reverse hinge, and then exhale, forward fold. Take a few breaths. Eventually, nice strong core. Let's rise up. Maybe just something eventually, to loosen up here. I like this one. I also like this one here, just kind of grabbing the hips, circling from here. All right, yogis, so this variation of tree, I want to teach this more often. It's a lateral movement in tree. It's kind of subtle and difficult to see, so you got to listen closely. Now, in essence, what I'm going to do is get on one foot. I'm going to kind of go like this, like I'm lazy, and then I'm going to actively pull the hips to the opposite side. It's a lateral movement, so you can't really see it from the front, from the side. All right, so here we go. Let's lift our left leg. Left knee high is the left hip. Just holding that there, I'm strengthening the hip flexor, okay? Hands can start on the hips, down by sides. Drop your hips to the right. It's kind of like I get lazy, and then actively, the action really is pulling the hips to the left. So if my left knee is lifted, I get lazy, hips to the right, I actively bring them to the left. So it looks like this. Remember, yogis, this leg is not moving, my top leg. It's here. It looks like the top leg is moving, but it's only moving because of the action I'm doing in the hip and in the pelvic tilt, okay? You're gonna feel this one a lot, we're doing adduction, abduction, again, there's a lot of lateral tilt happening in the core, and then that left hip flexor is gonna be really working. Hopefully you start to feel it in the upper outer right hip, because the main weight-bearing action is abduction. We actually just did this in side plank. Slowly release, take a moment. You might need a little hinge, you might need a little back bend, you might need a little twist. Second side, right knee lifts. It looks like my right leg is moving, but that's only because my pelvis and core is moving. Got to really slow down. Don't hunch forward. It's a moving tree. The tree is blowing, swaying side to side in the wind.
It's a tough one. You got to figure this one out, yogis. You got to slow down, man. It's not this. It's not that. This is the focus leg, the standing. I get lazy, they drop to the side. I go to the right. You got to really tune in. As I drive my hips right, I'm contracting my upper hip. This kind of, the glute muscle right here? That's like the upper outer glute medius. That's what we're really focusing on here, okay? And you should, after you do both sides, take your time, like take a step or three. You should be able to feel it like up here. I didn't even really do it, and I feel it a lot. It's the upper outer hip. So not like the glute max, but the upper outer glute, okay? Glute max was the bridge. 2 rounds. Now we just got our second round here. Now I'm going to do the hinge. It is hamstring tension. You could start double leg. Eventually, let's step to the middle of our mat. I'm just going to do warrior 3 hold. If you want to go further, standing splits. We already did half split, but you can do your handstand hops here too. If you want a little bit more for your arms, you could always add like eagle arms. I'm just mentioning if you want to try it. Not really instructing anything in particular in the arms, but fist behind is a nice reverse prayer. We're going to hover our left foot, bend our right knee, and we're going to hinge. Remember, there's a big difference between a hinge and a squat. Hinge happens at the hip. Squat happens at the hip and the knee. So it's warrior 3 hold. If you're feeling excellent, you want to go big with your arms, you could reach forward past your ears, palms face each other. We call that extended warrior 3, or there's actually a name, Tula Danda, the balancing staff position. So it's a little different. Nice. So remember, if your right leg, whatever leg's lifted, right, drop that hip down. So that leg always wants to take the hip with it, whether it's lunge or plank or on your back. We want to work on being aware. How does that leg orient with the pelvis, the hips? Let's make sure we're more aware there, intentional.
So a nice sturdy hold, nice job, slowly release, give it a little breather if you need. And second side, okay? Simply, for me, it's hovering right foot, put your hands in the second side of your bind, and then we'll come down to our hinge hold.
Come on, feel equal weight into the feet. Lengthen through your core. Notice if your back arches are round or rounds, and work against that tendency. So the cue is different person to person, day by day. You know, in a big class, a lot of times here, most people's spine will be rounded, right? So I'll say, no, lengthen your core, kind of pull your chest forward, almost even arch your back a little. But to somebody who's really good at arching the back, that's not a good cue. So, you know, that's where the group thing, it's going to be very different, yogis. And then as you practice a lot and you change your body, how you have to work in the pose is going to change.
Nice. So that's two balances. It's a very, forward and back and a very lateral balance. So I want you to take your time, shake it out. I'm only going to teach two more standing things, yogis. They both are kind of representing a squat. Both the last two postures were very straight leg oriented. We got hip flexors strong, but one was here. They're both like a hinge almost, right? So now we're going to go into squat land, let's call it. I'm not going to do many lunges today. This is kind of representing a lunge a little bit. So feet hips width distance, parallel, arms forward now. So you're just going to hold your arms here. If you notice, it's almost like I'm in a plank. Listen, turn the crease of your elbow up, turn the palm down. So crease of the elbow up, palm down, all right? Now get into your chair posture, and I'm going to lift my heels. So it's called a toe balance. We're still balancing. This is a double foot balance on more of the padding of the foot and the toe. Work here, yogis. Come on, breathe. Notice if your chest leans forward. It's not a hinge. So a lot of times I'm trying to introduce some of these biomechanical terms in class. A squat really is keeping your chest vertical, right? And the foundations of squat. A hinge is bringing your chest down. So we're anti-hinging here. We're trying to keep the chest vertical. All right, listen, stand up, take a little breather. Let me just show you. This is really important to know, yogis. It's a hinge. This is a hinge. This is a squat. Like say you're squatting with weight, unless you're doing a low bar squat, that's actually partial hinge too, but you don't want to be going forward with weight on the back of your neck, right? So you got to keep the chest upright actively. So just to always recognize, a lot of times I'm trying to get you to hinge and you're squatting or vice versa. Notice that in your body, please. Last standing power leg hold. This is kind of like our lunge today. Let's widen our feet. And the end of class here, you're going to see this kind of ends with twists. We're going to do a twist here. We're going to do a twist on our back for the final abs. So I want to get that good goddess pose. And you got to hold, yogis. You got to go in your mind and be strong here, okay? It's like you have an imaginary block. Unless you have one, you can squeeze your block, but don't hold it. Don't hold it. Spread your fingers, squeeze with your palms. Get low. Don't let your knees buckle in. Actively out. I'm going to exhale down toward the right knee, and with my core, inhale up to the left. Exhale down to the right. Inhale to left. And yogis, I do want you to work on, kind of twisting and range now. The thing with this one, it's kind of like we do on our abs. It's not like twist side to side. It's up, down also. This is a really good one for the obliques. It's like the side abdomen that's stabilized laterally as well. You really got to feel here. So close your eyes if you can. And the main goal is to really hold the legs because we're doing enough core on the back and on the table today. Main goal is to really hold the legs to where you're going to lose your mind. But remember, the practice is calming the mind. That's called yoga practice. And you want to really practice yoga, go for a ride on the 405 during traffic hour. You'll have a really good practice of learning to calm your mind.
All right, now listen, straighten your legs. If you want to go for a quick forward bend, just a quick one here, yogis, go ahead. You know, last like 5 days in a row, I have to drive up to Beverly Hills and West Hollywood for massage clients. And what a blessing in disguise I get. All that time in the car, I get to practice yoga, calming my mind on the 405, on the 10. Calming your mind in goddess squats, easy compared to that sometimes, right? All right, let's do our second side. I think some of you, I saw switching it up, maybe I wasn't clear, but we were kind of doing one side. It's kind of like chopping wood here, where we're just kind of going up and then down across, okay? Here we go. Last standing pose, make it a good one, yogis. We did our 3 balances. Now the legs get symmetry and strong. It's our second round of chair, but wide angle, so you get the back line more. Arms forward, down, left, inhale, upright. I want it to come from the core, yogis. The legs are, I don't like to use the word stiff, but they're really grounded and solid. They're not giving way to, as you twist up to the right, that opposite knee isn't pulling with it. So there's always that opposite action. It's kind of like Warrior 3, where you lift the hip, it takes the hip with it. No. As I twist up to the right, it's going to want to take that opposite knee with it, kind of down and in possibly. Don't let that happen, yogis. Discipline that body. Yeah, and that's the peak. Let's just say a long leg hold. All right. All right, so listen, yogis, really nice job. Stand up, step to the front of your mat. How about we take one sun salutation, cleanse the palate, one time. Arms can go down by side. Let's take a big inhale and slow exhale. Inhale, we can reach our arms up. I like to add a little back bend. Exhale, a skillful, graceful forward bend. Inhale, the active half lift. I call it a sacred reset. And then optional, one round of push-ups. It's been a while since we were on the wrists, so you can maybe get one more round of good weight bearing in the arms. Sometimes in this class, I do lack weight bearing arm training. Our focus is a little bit more back, core, legs, okay? You can take one last cobra up dog. And then down dog. We're gonna swing it around. I'm gonna give you one more little ab burn, and then you'll take a stretch or 2 to end class, all right? Our goddess squat was like the peak of our glutes, because your abduction, you're in like a resisted extension and a rotation. So that is our glutes there. We're good there, but I know you might want one more little ab weight bearing resisted. So let's do it. I'm gonna lay on the back here, and a little thing we're practicing extra today is this pulsing and rotation. Rotation's a little focused today, okay? So you're gonna reach your arms to the back. Now listen, you gotta press your lower back down. You gotta press your lower back down. The left leg's gonna go about halfway forward. Both feet are gonna flex. Now I'm gonna crunch. I'm gonna twist outside my right thigh. Now listen, it's just your right leg moving. Right leg forward, right knee taps left elbow. So right now, my core is static. It's the hip that's extending, flexing. And I do want to try to lift my right shoulder up. It's not a super deep twist. You can always, put one hand behind the head here, the right hand, and tap, okay? I've done it like this too. Now, if you want one last go, right leg up, hold it. It's a little pulse of the chest. You're pulsing again in that twist, but you're not alternating sides now like we pulled the rope earlier. Yeah, I'm losing some of you. This is tough. And move slow and don't release too fast, because we're in that long twist hold now. All right?
All right, both legs up, relax your head down, take a moment. We do have one more side, and then you're gonna be unwinding. So yogis, this is it for your abs. So put it all on the table if you wanna go big. All right, legs go up. Arms kind of, go behind your ears. Your right leg goes halfway forward. Flex both feet. Arms come up to the sky and then twist outside your left leg. It's like a revolved half moon, right? Now, the only thing that's gonna move, you're gonna hold the crunch, hold the twist. The left leg swings forward and it's left knee tapping to right elbow tricep. Now, again, you do wanna do a little lift of the left shoulder and crunch too. So it's, 6, 12 leg swings there. Yeah, hip flexors, right? We didn't do many lunges, so this is kind of, if you've noticed, we did a lunge in the beginning, but, it was more standing upright, knee hold, up, lunge. Goddess was part of the lunge. This is part of the lunge. Now, the second part here, you go to your edge, left leg up, right leg still forward, feet flex. It's a little pulse of the chest. If you have your hand behind your head, it's like you're pulsing your right elbow toward your left knee. Oh yeah, abs gonna be sore tomorrow. All right, you're done with your core. Nice job with a little last burn. If we had a little extra time, I might do something like an eagle crunch or just something a little bit more symmetrical, but I think we should get going here. Take a moment to windshield wipe the knees. I am gonna do rotational stretches. We did the good hamstring. But if there's other things you wanna do, I'm gonna teach a little restorative bridge after the rotations, all right? We just did a lot of twists. I'm gonna call it there today in the core. So either right ankle atop left knee, or if you're up for it, go Mukhasana. All right, but I am gonna do two parts in this stretch here. So knees come in the chest. If you're doing Go Mukhasana, ideally there's no space between the thighs. Notice here, it's not like eagle. You do cross your thighs. Eagle's where my right leg here would wrap under the calf, but it's actually the opposite. My feet go away. I have to crunch to get that bind to the ankles and pull. Flex the feet. Try to get my head and sink them down. With practice, you grab those feet, the soles of the feet, and you pull. I love reclining Go Mukhasana. If you can find a way to get into that and really just kind of keep a decent pull, but relax, it is such an incredible hip stretch. I do want you to be aware, yogis. Remember, we are flexing our feet because that's going to help protect both the ankle and the knee. That's a good rule to always remember. Engaging muscle protects joints. When in doubt, engage. Too often I go to these yoga classes, I'm not trying to really judge. I go to tons of classes still so I can learn what to do and what not to do because I can really feel it. And I hear teachers saying, relax your abdomen all the times when we're like weight bearing on the spinal arch. I don't get it. Most people's abs are way too weak. And then teachers are constantly saying, relax your abdomen. I get it. Some people are clenched there. But in a general rule of thumb, I think it's more important that we activate first. Like teach the body to activate well before it's like sitting on the couch, you're always not engaged, right? So listen, our second part of our stretch here, if you're in Go Mukhasana, it looks like most of you are, you just bring your knees to the right. It's not to the left. So if my right thigh's over top, I bring my knees to the right. It's gonna traction the kind of outer left front hip. If you were in figure 4, you just slide the foot on the outer knee and you do this one. They're a little different. This one's a little bit more rotational. I find this one to be, the Go Mukhasana, to be a little bit more like front body traction. It's not as much as a spinal twist, and this is like a hip stretch for the left hip. All right, so when you're done, you don't want to hold that one too long. You take a moment to shake it out.
And then we're going to do we're going to do this, and then just a kind of restorative posture leading us into meditation. Okay. So second side of like the lateral rotation where you're pulling on the feet or that hamstring to get the left hip for our figure four people. Try to close your eyes and breathe. Now, this one I wanted you to hold a little bit longer. We did a lot on those hips today. So, you take your second rotational stretch where if your left thigh is over your right, you drop your knees left. Or if you're in figure four, your left foot goes on your outer right knee and you drop left. All right, go ahead. Yogis, I think I'm lucky to have a unique look at yoga because I mentioned my other job is massage. This week I've done 12 hours of massage in the last like 5 days. I get to palpate, like touch a lot of people's muscle. And it gives me really good insight to, real conditions of people's bodies. And that's why I say like, I've been in classes and teachers keep saying, relax your butt. And everyone's butt is like really weak. And from as far as what I see, I massage a lot of like athletes and yogis, and the glutes are like really underdeveloped, and that we know that causes a lot of other muscles to, let's say, be overworked or over tense because they're trying to do the work that what some myologists say should be the strongest muscle in your body, the glute max. So once you get good at engaging muscles, yeah, we don't want them to over clench and tense. So we want to learn to relax as well. So it is a fine line, but I would say muscles are designed to contract. All right. And I want you to learn to do that first. So listen, yogis, our final, we're going to go about till 10:05 here. I do want you to do a little extension position. So if you have a block, it's a restorative bridge. I mean, unless you're feeling fantastic, you can go big, but just take this into your meditation here. Pushing into your sacrum. If you're bent over a lot in your job or in your posture, you can feel this a lot. The pressing through the sacrum into the SI joints. And let's just chill out now. I'm rocking a little side to side, just to get a little massage around my sacrum, my glutes. And I'll let you stay on there if you want today, but I do want to somewhere, if there's any back pain or irritation there, maybe just bring your butt to the floor. Now, I do want to make sure we calm the nerves. It's a very active practice, very kind of and antagonizing to the nervous system. So let's take, just 2 to 3 minutes or so to practice the intention of calming our heart rate and our nerves, our eyes, practicing rest. So a last breath or two, even letting your lungs relax now, and the full body just kind of melts into the floor. Right? We call it Shavasana in yoga, the release of the mind, the body, the breath.